Resource scarcity. Economic growth in the current age of interdependence and such is hampered by the finite natural world that we live in. The earliest and most enduring question of economic literature is whether growth can be sustained. The following piece of writing will discuss issues that then surround the subject of resource scarcity and the effects of it in the past. The past century has seen exponential growth in human population and economic well-being for a fair portion of the world. The growth has been fed by equally exponential consumption of natural resources, which has prompted recurring concerns about whether the world's natural resource base is capable of sustaining growth. The concern is supported by simple mathematics. Exponential physical growth in a finite world eventually generates complex numbers. This encourages a dual reference to the relative stinginess of Mother Nature. Reminders of scarcity activate a competitive orientation. This is simple psychology. How will nations share in their quest for interdependence or globalization when they're constantly being reminded of their scarcity domestically? The 2008 to 2009 recession, for example, where employment was becoming increasingly scarce, led to slower growth. A sharp drop in consumer spending affected businesses, which had to retrench workers to be able to absorb the losses experienced. That financial crisis primarily caused by deregulation in the financial industry that permitted banks to engage in hedge fund trading, derivatives. Banks then demanded more mortgages to support the profitable trading of these derivatives. Big banks had to find resources to become sophisticated at the use of these complex derivatives. The bank with the most complex financial products made the most money, complicating the product, which allows manufacturers to entice buyers with charming rhetoric that could mean absolute hogwash, but gets the point across. That having a stake in these derivatives would benefit their lives. Like derivatives that is backed by a combination of both real estate and insurance, would decrease the risk yet increase the yield. Or the recently popularized ETF, being electronically traded funds in South Africa based on larger stocks like the Nasdaq and stuff. The difference now is that derivatives are dangerous for the economy because there is no direct ownership of anything. For example, ETFs, where ETFs have stock. The ingenuity of these derivatives lies in their marketing because, with particular reference to their scarcity, a sense of exclusivity to have them cultivates and exploits until the market cannot handle it. The saving grace this time, maybe for a while, is technological progress. It has been the pillar which society has fixed itself upon natural resource scarcity. At an undergraduate level of study, there are assumptions made about the natural or the nature of trade because of understandability. One that encourages the point made about technology is that of the Heckscher-Ohlin theory, being that trade between two nations and two commodities is assumed to be facilitated by the same access to technology and general production techniques. Having the same amount of access reduces bias and subjectivity that can be used as an argument to change the terms of trade in favor of one nation against the other. Now, in conclusion, the Heckscher-Ohlin model is a good starting point towards understanding the nature of scarcity because of the assumptions of consistency first. Being able to coalesce the model to the national field will increase the possibility of interpreting the results better. Mention of the Great Recession is important because it proved that big business is still constrained by extremities of human behavior and psychology. Derivatives emulated an exercise called peacocking that involves flattering to draw the consumer into their space and with emphasis and study of the correlation between business and psychology. Pending crises like the current economic black swan can be simmered into less of a threat by their respective cabinets of the company, parliament, etc.